Hi, Dr. Clint. How are you today?
I'm good, Lynn. It's good to see you. Good to be with you.
Yeah, good to see you too. I think since before COVID that we actually have been in the same place at the same time and really got to spend some quality time. But I know, we just continue to stay connected because, you've been a shape practitioner. I don't know if you remember, but you've been a shape practitioner since March of 2013, you and your wife, Brooke.
Yeah.
And Dr. Todd and I just want to thank you for continuing to believe in and trust Shape and us as a company, and that you've continued to partner with us. I would just love for you to share your story about how you learned about Shape and what really led to your decision to jump on board with us.
Yeah. So back in, I guess, 11 years ago, 11 and a half years ago, I got a call from my mentor, Dr. Dinkelman, and I know he's mentored several other physicians that are, going to see this recording as well throughout the
Yes, you
country.
have.
And it's one of those things that when your mentor talks, you always listen.
Right?
And John called me very excited about the Shape product, the Shape program, and was very enthusiastic about it. And from there, I kind of started doing my own research and then discussing some things with John, and then it just kind of organically developed from there.
Yeah, that's great. And you know, okay, here we are, this many years later, and is Shape still performing the way it did from the first day you started using it to now? Are you finding that it's still working?
100%. And one of the amazing things about Shape is really the product design that, as we've seen, many health challenges and more issues come about, especially in the last 5 years since COVID. But the design of Shape was, even designed, 14 and 15 years ago, still surpasses and meets the health needs that people have today, even with the increased toxic burden that everybody is under, whether it be from the food they're putting into the body to the stress that they're under, to stealth pathogens, the viral load, and just the continuous toxic exposure that people are exposed to.
Yeah, when I went to Todd and said, "You're helping everybody, but you're not helping me," and of course, I had hit that, menopausal weight loss, weight gain wall, and it just was doing everything, and nothing was working. And so, that was his intention at first, to help that menopausal female. But then when he started developing the product, he couldn't help himself. He just thought, oh,
Mhm.
I've got to put this in because I want to support this, and I've got to put this in because I wanted to support that. And before he was done with the product, it's a full spectrum product. And as we market it as a total health restoration. We're all about tackling inflammation, strengthening immune function, detox, and cleansing. So talk to me about why you love Shape as a detox.
Yeah, I love Shape as a detox because it kind of tackles the areas of detox of the body that are burdened. And one thing that has always kind of amazed me is the drainage that, from a homeopathic standpoint, that was designed into the product. And
Mhm.
I really feel it's one of the main hallmarks that kind of set Shape apart from another type of product that might be on the market that other practitioners use. But the thing is when people do lose weight, and as we say, as a side effect, right? We say
Right.
it's a total lifestyle transformation, not necessarily just a weight loss program, but toxins store in fat cells. And as people shed this toxic weight that's inflammatory, those toxins have to go somewhere. And if what they're doing or products that they're taking don't have proper drainage built into the remedy, then their body tends to reabsorb those toxins, which then go back through the liver and kidney system and then back into fat cells. So that's one thing that's always amazed me about Shape is the intention of the design and just the full spectrum of design. And that's what allows it to really be used for virtually any health condition. You even look at the brain, and we can talk about the brain needing to be reprogrammed from a diet and lifestyle perspective, but also a toxic perspective. And, the chemical exposure that we're exposed to. And even if you look at these issues with mental health, there's a lot of research that shows that, social media and young children that are gaming all the time, that actually creates a chemical concussion in the body, which introduces a new toxic load, and Shape also helps to drain the brain. And draining the brain is also going to be an important part, because you kind of remove that interference from the hypothalamus and pituitary gland, which then allows it to be successful on the metabolic system too.
Well, we say, right on the homepage of our website that our Shape drops enhance communication between the hypothalamus and the pituitary. And, those two talk to each other in the brain. That's the only place that they can communicate with each other. And when we are enhancing their function and helping them to heal, we send clear endocrine messages down to the body, and we see amazing results. I know when Todd developed the product, he was 30 years into his career using homeopathy as medicine, and every single ingredient in this bottle of drops was put there with great intention and purpose. Todd always shares when he's teaching you practitioners and he's helping you understand about the product. He always says, I want you to just, fold your hands like you're going to pray and put them together. And he always asks that question: are you a right thumb over left or a left thumb over right? And then he has you pull your hands apart and put them back together with your thumb on the, resting in the opposite position. And it just doesn't feel right. Like I'm a right over left. That's what feels right. And he says when he was putting this formula together, it had to fit. It had to be that. If it didn't fit, it just, he just couldn't even think about it. And as he was working with some of the scientists and putting this formula together, a lot of people were talking about supporting thyroid, and they wanted him to put some more aggressive thyroid support in there. And he said, no, not everybody has an aggressive thyroid component that's causing their health challenges. And so he came through the back door, and used something a little bit milder. And here we are having phenomenal success. We've had, and maybe you've seen this, I don't know, Dr. Clint, but we've had patients come to us and say that their endocrinologist said, okay, your labs are showing you have Hashimoto's, and you're always going to have Hashimoto's. You're never going to heal from Hashimoto's. You're never going to be able to lose weight. They just put such negativity and oppression on that patient. And we have completely turned that around. And
Absolutely.
So for somebody to say it will never heal, I don't understand that, because Shape will be 15 years old in April. In our almost 15 years, we've seen patient after patient after patient that has been diagnosed with Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune, and we've turned that around with our program. Tell me, have you seen that?
Absolutely. As most practitioners, that will watch this, they, their day is filled with dealing with patients with any type of inflammatory burden. And everybody's immune system has a breaking point, to the point where it will become autoimmune.
Right.
And, because Hashimoto's is, also so linked to the intake of wheat and gluten, you're looking at a major inflammatory prospect of that. But, to kind of your point as well with the medical community, is everything they tell patients is what's not possible. And what's been great about Shape and the way that, we practice functional and alternative and restorative medicine, is that we show people what is possible.
Right.
And that's really what sets that apart.
That is so great. Well, we have been shouting from the rooftops for decades that food is medicine. And that's
Yeah.
the pillar that we're teaching all of our shape practitioners, that your job as a shape practitioner is to help your patient understand food is medicine. They must change their relationship with food and embrace a healthier lifestyle. And I've had people say, yeah, I eat a healthy lifestyle. I'm doing good. I eat a healthy lifestyle. And then they think, you know what, maybe I'll just do shape. Maybe I could be healthier. And they come back and they go, okay, I thought I was eating a healthier lifestyle,
Yeah.
a healthy lifestyle. I wasn't eating a shape healthy lifestyle. And listen, we're pretty simple. We say all the time, just eat real food that God has put on this earth. And we avoid man-made food like the plague. And I don't know, I'm having this conversation with so many practitioners. So many of us are just thrilled that we have candidates running for office right now that are talking about going after the food industry. That what's going on. I mean, we've got higher and higher level healthcare, yet we've got sicker and sicker and sicker people. And what is going on? Cancer is higher, heart disease, diabetes. I mean, everything is just worse than ever. How is this possible? It's the food industry. We believe
It's the
it's
food
the food
industry.
industry. And
Yeah.
we have been saying to patients, and you've heard us at our symposiums, you vote with every dollar you spend. If
Yeah.
you stop buying man-made, chemically processed food that's made in a lab, if you stop buying it, they're going to stop making it if their
Yeah.
sales go down. So we are thrilled that we've got somebody that has a bigger platform than we do or you do. We're just talking to our patients about it. Now we're talking to hundreds and hundreds of healthcare professionals, but now we've got brother and sister Casey and Callie Means that have a platform that they are getting out there in the public right now, and they've just come out with this new book, Good Energy, that
Hmm.
I would love for everybody to read, and just really understand what's going on in the food industry, and with the corruption. I will just say that. I'm just
Hmm.
going to just say it. I'm
Yeah,
just going to put it
absolutely.
out there. There's just so
That's
much
what it is.
corruption, right?
Yeah, that's what
And
it is.
we just need to do, and they are saying, I heard RFK was saying that if we can just make some changes, like literally just within a few years, we can really make a huge shift in the health of this country. So I'm all for that. And I know, talk to me about how you educate people, Doc.
Sure. So, as you were saying, it really does come down to food. And, and I'm sitting in my office now that I do consultations, and you can see over my left shoulder, there's a bust of Hippocrates, who said, let food be thy medicine and thy medicine be thy food.
Right.
So we really take that to heart. And, really in our practice, it's about educating the patient. A lot of people don't realize how bad they feel until they start to feel good.
Isn't that the truth?
And that's when the light kind of turns on for them. So, everything in our practice is really based off of what's happening at the cellular level. As we know, we can only be as healthy as our cells allow us to be. And you can only heal based on what the body needs and uses on a daily basis for function. And that comes down to proper food and proper eating. So we spend a lot of time with our patients educating them on an anti-inflammatory eating and lifestyle. And then, we kind of, we don't want them drinking from a fire hose in the beginning. So we always like to meet them where they are and kind of figure out where their setbacks are, where their roadblocks might be, whether it be personally or with their family. And then we kind of take the education from there and really kind of counsel them on that. And that's another great thing about the SHAPE program, is it really gets people back down to just eating simply, but eating the right way and giving your body what it needs so it can perform and function the way that we're intended to.
Well, it's a shame that, you hear it, we heard it. People have bought into, what television is telling them is healthy and what we should eat. and people are into that instant, drive-through fast food. And we're not about that. We're about
Yeah.
really helping folks get back in the kitchen and do some foundational cooking. And we say, listen, yeah, if you have a busy life, we have a really, really, really busy life. And, I mean, we had a thriving practice, 5 kids. Um, Todd was teaching, we were really busy, but I would usually take one day, and it would be on the weekend because, we work during the week. And I would spend a few hours in the kitchen and get some foundational stuff made. And I would just say to Todd, okay, you know, this is what's going to the office. And so we would take our breakfast and lunch because we would get in like at 6:30 in the morning, and we wouldn't leave the office until 6:30 at night. And
Right.
so we would have our breakfast and lunch at the office. And I would just say, we've got this for our breakfast and we've got this for our lunch for this week. And we ate clean, but it didn't make any sense to us to be preaching to our patients to eat clean and healthy, and that it's going to make them feel better if we're not walking the walk. You can't just talk the
Right.
talk, you got to walk the walk. And
Right.
unfortunately, we have too many healthcare professionals that are preaching to people, but they're not living it themselves. And
Absolutely.
we just, try the best that we can. That doesn't mean, I say all the time to people, shape doesn't have to be a prison sentence. Look, there's a period of time that we're going to be pretty strict, and we're going to be very, very targeted with clean anti-inflammatory eating, but we're eventually going to start adding some foods back, and we're going to pay attention to how your body responds. And more often than not, and I know you've seen the same thing, it's a healthy food that's causing inflammation for someone.
Sure.
So we've got to pinpoint that, and we've got to then transition them out of our stabilized phase to our live phase, and we've got to help them find that balance point. At what percent of, I think the answer is going to be high, but because you guys do spend so much time in education, but what percent of your patient base do you feel that work with you that truly do embrace a healthier lifestyle from where
Yeah. I
they
mean,
started with you to, when you dismiss them?
sure. Yeah, I would probably estimate that to be, upwards of 65 to 80%. And, that remaining percentage that's out there, it's not that they don't know what to do. They just haven't chosen to follow through with that yet.
Right.
And as you guys know, those patients will always come back and they'll always
Right.
say, I should have listened to you 3 years ago or 5 years ago.
That's right.
But also a kind of a big message that we, talk to our patients about is, some of the two questions that we asked during that phase one discussion is, what is your why? And you have to choose your hard, and what we mean by that is, why are you doing this? And we have them fill out a questionnaire in our office that is
Mhm.
not weight related, but
Right.
is it, can I get up and down out of a chair without pain? Can I get on the floor and play with my kids or grandkids? Can I get off medication? We're trying to kind of teach them from a global perspective that their health can change because they've been told, so long before by the medical community that once you're diagnosed with something that defines who you are. And our patients know that their diagnosis does not define them.
Absolutely.
We don't allow that to happen. And we, really try to educate on the fact that, these things can change, they can turn around, but health is a participation sport. We can't want it for them more than they want it for themselves. And that's why they have to choose their hard. Is it harder for them to stay sick and stay on medication and have limited activities of daily living versus making these changes that they need to make now to be able to improve
Mhm.
on that and improve their life?
I love that. Yeah. I mean, if every healthcare professional spent time in mainstream medicine, they don't have time to do that. Those
No.
of us on this side of the fence of healthcare and really get, digging deep and getting to the underlying root cause and really talking to people about their life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's what we're trying to do. And we're gaining ground, we're having great success. one of the things that we did, and as you know, one of the things that we teach our shape practitioners is once we help our patient reach their health goal and their weight goal and we release them, we would recommend they see us at least twice a year. We would want them to come back just for a maintenance visit, and we would want to check on them. How are you doing? Is your blood sugar still stable? Is your blood pressure, how's your digestion? Has that acid reflux flared back up again? What are you doing? And we would recommend periodic detox and cleanse. Do you do that with your patients, Doc?
We do. Yeah, 100%. And I think it has to be done. It's human nature to kind of revert back to a few old habits here and there. As you mentioned earlier with the food industry, sadly by design, it's intended for us not to be healthy as a society. And as the memes we'll talk about in their book and on their interviews that are kind of going viral now online is obviously it's profits that drive everything. And, I know for a lot of us that always will sound like a broken record, but it's just the truth.
It is.
And, what a few of the biggest issues is, the food and drug should not ever be in the same administration. You should never have food and drug within the same, government entity. And number two, the people that are in that administration, they don't understand food.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the biggest detriments to us as a society is they make it so hard for us to make a healthy lifestyle be mainstream.
Right. One of the things that I was listening to an interview by Casey Means, she was a surgeon, and, she talked about in medical school, they're funded by big pharma in such a big way. I mean, it drives their curriculum and everything, and they do nothing to teach about nutrition. And how is that possible? I mean, I think most people believe that, God created the human body, and it makes sense that if God would create this unbelievable, incredible entity, that he would create the food to sustain it. And,
absolutely.
I don't know. I'm just thrilled with what I'm hoping is going to happen, and we're out there, we're all for it. So whatever we're going to push and promote as much as we can. We're going to continue saying to people, you vote with every dollar you spend at the grocery store. So do that.
Yeah.
Doc, right now, big pharma and mainstream medicine is pushing Ozempic and Wegovy and, all those GLP-1 semaglutides. And I understand it. We completely understand the desperation of people. They've tried everything and they just aren't having success. I would be so bold to say they haven't tried shape, because we absolutely turn so many of these health conditions around, with weight loss being a wonderful, beautiful side effect. But it's sad that they are pushing these injections and people have no clue. They're just going into it blind. They have no clue what's in that injection, what it's going to do to the body, what the potential side effect. And they don't know that they're going to be a person that has a side effect. I was talking to one of our practitioners in Milwaukee that has a colonics practice. I mean, she's a DC, but she does colonics in her practice. And she said in the past year, her colonics practice has absolutely exploded. And she said, I got people coming in that haven't pooped for 10 days or 2 weeks. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, the toxicity level has got to be just so unbelievable. And then I've had practitioners call me and say they've had patients that have had to had surgery to remove impacted food that did not move through their digestive system, and they do, and they still want to continue on these injections. And as Dr. Todd says, you can't fix stupid.
You can't fix stupid. No.
That is the craziest thing that I have ever heard. And I listened to an interview, and there was a book recommended called Magic Pill. the guy really talks about the pros and the cons. And I just, as you know, we revamped the homepage on our website earlier this year to address that. We have a whole section about shape as a better choice. And we are educating, not only have we been spending time educating our practitioners, but we are educating the general public. We want them to understand what's in these injections and what it could possibly do. So for people that are listening to this interview, please go to our website and look at those expandable questions, read those articles, listen to those interviews and stuff, and really make an educated decision. Don't just go on, oh, my doctor says I should do this, and you just blindly do it. We think the fallout from this is going to be horrific.
Unfortunately,
now,
yes.
There's some benefit. We've got people that have been diabetics for a while and medications aren't getting it controlled, and this is helping them. I understand, but all too often people are using it as a vanity drug. And I just heard the other day they're recommending it for teenagers as a starting point and say you're going to have to take it for life. They are working to get it down to age 6.
Yeah.
Age 6. That is just insanity as
Absolutely.
far as I'm concerned.
I totally agree.
Do you have any, no, I think you mentioned to me that thankfully you've only had a few that have confessed to you.
That have confessed. That's probably the caveat there. Yeah, I would say in the last 6 to 8 months, I can only count maybe 3 or 4 patients that have actually came in who have started on a form of semaglutide or tirzepatide, Wegovy, Ozempic, et cetera. Yeah. But I also think that a lot of that goes back down to education. Right. As we talked before, the first thing we have to do as physicians is educate, because doctor means teacher. Right. And that's really one of the principal foundations of helping people achieve a healthier lifestyle is, they can only do better if they know better.
Isn't that the truth? That is so much of the truth. Well, Doc, we just love you and Brooke, and, you've been with us for a while, and you continue to be rock solid shape practitioners. And I know you've got all kinds of companies coming at you and entities coming at you to try different products and different programs, yet you continue to stay true to using shape. We appreciate that. And if you could just maybe button this up and just share why do you continue to put your trust and faith in our product and program for your practice?
Well, quite simply, it works, and it works because I think for a lot of reasons. And, as shape practitioners out there, we all know, and we probably can't thank the work that you and Todd have put into this. And it's been your life's passion and dedication and the compassion behind it as well. And to, welcome all of the shape practitioners into your family. So that carries a lot of energy, that carries a lot of intent, as you talked before with how Todd designed the remedy with intent. And from a bioenergetic medicine standpoint, it's very, very obvious that that's the case. And when things are done the right way for the right reasons, they work. And, as we kind of talked before, shape really kind of continues to stand the test of time, as the type of patient that we see is different than what it was 5 years ago and 6 years ago. But the design of shape continues to transcend what we're seeing with patients. Whether it be from the emotional support that is in shape with the brain and the vagus nerve and the hormone communication that kind of controls and drives everything. And then also, as I mentioned before, just the drainage that is in shape, because that really sets it apart from so many other things, is that, people are full of toxins and they need to detoxify, but a lot of people, their system is not healthy enough to do that without all the proper support in place, and ranging from hormones to the endocrine system, to the gallbladder and liver and kidneys and lymphatic system as well. Shape is really just everything put into a package that really is very easy to do. We always tell patients that physically anybody can do Shape the right way. You just have to be ready to mentally commit to it.
Right.
And all of the groundwork is laid out for them to be successful. And so that's really one of the big reasons that it's been such a hallmark for us in the last 11 and a half years, and why I certainly would expect that to be no different in the future.
Well, that's great. We've been criticized. Why don't you sell this on the internet? Let it just be sold out there on the internet. And there's so many products and programs and so many different things that people try and they fail at. And we made a decision early on that we were going to be practitioner monitored. We change blood chemistry so fast with our program, and we tackle so many lifestyle diseases and make such positive change that we really feel that this needs to be practitioner monitored, and we will never sell this product just out there. We had a guy come to us and want to buy 10,000 bottles and do a what is that show that you could go on and, oh gosh, it's slipping my mind, like
Is it Shark Tank?
not Shark Tank, but you could sell it on, oh gosh, what is it? It's slipping, it's right on the tip of my tongue. And he wanted to sell it out there where people go out there and hawk their stuff and they sell a bunch of stuff. And we're like, no. And he goes, but when you sell to me, and we go, well, if we knew that's what you were going to do, no, because we are practitioner monitored. We're very guarded and by intent, and we've never done any professional advertising. We're very intentional with the healthcare professionals that we're working with. We want to make sure that we are partnering with people that have that same kind of passion and commitment that we do to really love these people and help them understand, excuse me, that we've got to get to the underlying root cause. We've got to. And so, you said it, Shape has stood the test of time, and we're really proud of its history. And we have hundreds and hundreds of practitioners across the country that use the product, and more that keep coming to us and looking at our product and program. And it's because of people like you, Dr. Clinton and Dr. Brooke, that you keep doing the good work, and then people are healing, and then other people are seeing, and it just is like the ripple effect. So Dr. Todd and I want to thank you for just being a part of our Shape family. We love you guys, and you know that we're here for you. If you ever need us, just give us a holler, and we will be in touch soon. Thanks for your time today and sharing your
Absolutely.
heart with everybody. I appreciate it.
Thank you, and we appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.